Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing this. So guys, once we get into the game, we're going to basically put this down. We're going to get some paths. Well, actually first we're going to do is we're going to get some entrances, put down the entrance, put down the exit. Just basically we're going to show you a bit of a trick to obviously change the ride into like get rid of the fence, get rid of the curb around. Basically you just have to just do this. It's quite simplistic, quite easy to do, and to be honest, it's really effective. Obviously, each time you go onto a new game, you would have to keep on doing this if you wanted to. Keep it without any entrance or exit, but to be honest, it's not too much hassle. Doesn't really cost much anything. Anyway, we're going to put the paths down and we're going to actually start the work. So straight away, we're going to put this block down. We're going to use the circle method, which we'll be using a lot of the video, which to be honest is one of the best methods that I know of in Theme Park Tycoon 2. Then straight away, we're going to actually try to use this new resize tool, which to be honest, I'm not too bad with. It's quite a good tool. We're going to use 0.125 snapping just for this one, so we can get it centered. I did actually realize after doing this and obviously using that I did it wrong, but instead we kept it just to see how it would look like. And we needed to. Honestly didn't need to change the snapping. Luckily, so we kept it at 0.125. And just basically kept on going on with that. Obviously we duplicated, then we moved obviously this rectangle down. Obviously we squidged it a bit, and obviously moved it down because it would be around the same width as the squares that we have used. Now once we get that into place, the rectangles into place using the rotation tool, we noticed that it wasn't perfect, so we had to make it basically a bit forwards and widen out with the new tool, which is absolutely brilliant, by the way, guys. It's a game changer. Then we use the rotation, the rotation, basically the perfect circle method. I noticed that at this point I made a mistake. All I needed to do was actually just shorten it down, press Y, delete the one that's there, and then basically click like I did. Now we're gonna just obviously add this just this quick extra stand on this podium kind of thing. Basically make it look awesome. We do actually place it down. We wanted something completely different, but we're gonna actually put 0.0625. We're gonna expand that just a tiny little bit, move it down one, and then just basically keep it like that. I mean, it wasn't my plan, and then obviously just multiply that over to the other podiums. Then we use this. We realize straight away that's way too big. So we make it a bit smaller, which we think is going to be completely perfect. It's still a bit too big. I wasn't happy with it, so I made it just a bit smaller, which was absolutely perfect. We then obviously reduced it down to pretty much minimum. We then moved it up one, made it smaller again. Made it even smaller. I was like, this is pretty much perfect. Tried expanding it. Obviously then realised I do need to change the snapping, so I changed the snapping to 0.0125, I believe. I can't remember. And then just duplicate that around. Guys, if you do want to pause the video as well to obviously just find out what the snapping was, that would be brilliant. Also, now we'll go into adding the skirting, I believe it's called. I don't believe it's called skirting. It's just part of the wall anyway. And we colour that in white marble. And to be honest, it looks absolutely amazing. It looks beautiful. And then we just put this one down. We do notice a mistake that we put this one too high with our snapping rotation. And to be honest, a lot of this is, I'm sorry guys, is guessing on snapping, because I had to guess most of the time what snapping I actually used, because I didn't put any things down. But I pretty much used 0.125, 0.0625, and basically just half of that again. So basically, it's only them. We noticed that actually it looked a lot better if we just basically didn't actually join it up, just left it like that. It looked a lot better. And then we just basically just duplicate that across the whole thing. We then went over and decided we would add another layer. We would rise it up a bit, and then we would add another layer. Obviously this layer then obviously didn't actually get turned into a layer at all, and actually get turned into the main structural poles, which we raised a bit too high at first, but then we sorted out after. Turns out that we were actually correct by raising them too high, and the ones we did were too low, but it didn't change the look of the building at all, and just kept it looking pretty much the same. We then just duplicated what we've just done around. We tried raising that to basically copy what we did on top. Instead, we just drag it down, we just place that, and then we just duplicate that along with the podiums again, and which is pretty much an easy job for anyone really. We then obviously move the roof, because it's just too much fuss to obviously try to get it perfect by resizing it as well, because the resizing tool isn't the greatest with getting things in the middle. So to be honest, except from that, I didn't really mind. But then we noticed that obviously once doing this, that we noticed straight away the roof is too low. We tried making this a bit smaller so we didn't have to move the roof, but the signs did need to get placed on, so we had to raise the roof just a tiny bit. And then we obviously just did a rotation tool. We did the rotation tool again, and we just tried to get the sign in bang on in the middle, so we just had to use no and then obviously just taking out what it says sign. We then start colouring the part where the brick was, just because it's easier without the sign. As you saw when I tried painting behind the sign, it literally just painted the sign, so it's just a lot more simple. We then finished that off, putting the signs around, which is just purely white and gold. The exact same gold as on the ride, like I said earlier. Then we started colouring the poles, the colours of the ride, so it's basically purple from the teapot, the blue, red and green from the cups. So pretty much simplistic. You can't go wrong. Obviously you can change colours, do what you wish, but I just kept it like this. Just gave a little bit of like a Willy Wonka kind of vibe really. I was singing, actually, in all honesty, I was actually singing a lot of Willy Wonka songs before I did the voiceover, and that's one of the reasons why I needed to do voiceover. And then once we'd done all that, all the colouring and that, we then point out that we had that kind of entrance. We didn't want that kind of entrance at first. We did end up, I believe, adding it in the end. But instead we added something that would make it more look like a bandstand. We just basically added a bit of which we rotated the brick on using the perfect circle method, even though it's not to make a perfect circle, of course. We then rotate the wall, the top part of the wall, which then we use a 0.0625 to just make it a tiny little bit stick out from the side. And once we get into this situation, we notice that it's a bit more difficult, but pretty much it's trial and error with the roof. But you should end up something like this using the circle method. Then we just obviously just dragged it up on each one. It wasn't obviously until until the second one we placed from the top that we realised we did have to colour, and it would make all sense that we coloured straight away. So once we obviously move to all these, we do realise that I do need to start colouring, because they're not all going to be blue, they're going to be purple, red, green and blue. So as soon as I noticed that, I started colouring. So basically the purples would be opposite each other, the greens would be opposite each other, the blues would be opposite each other, and the reds would be opposite each other too, which was quite easy for me to just basically just look over the sides, colour. We accidentally did paint the roof, which we did paint back eventually, and then after you got this little kind of ball kind of thing on top, which looks absolutely beautiful. And pretty much that's it. I mean, we did do a bit more work after, but there's nothing we can do, which you can see from the thumbnail, so you can try to copy from the thumbnail. But thank you guys for all watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!